I have noticed that more and more social media posts and comments are getting, I think, reckless for lack of a better term. I mean, social media users are now unashamed of calling out others in the public domain and, worst of all, calling for death threats to people they don't agree with. Now, my question here is, have we gotten too comfortable voicing out our opinions online? Hey there, you're listening to the Mostly Nothing podcast. I'm your host, Noel, and in this episode, I'll be giving my thoughts and opinions on social media users or netizens having lost a sense of humanity, empathy, and the irony of online justice. Oh man, this is gonna be a very heavy topic to touch on. The why of this episode is that I've always wanted to give my thoughts on this issue because every month or so, a whole new online scandal of people or issues goes viral and social media users go wild and comfortably dishing out their thoughts online in regards to said issue or whatever. Now, I'm not gonna say this is a bad thing. I mean, freedom of speech is a good thing, right? But most of us don't really realize freedom of speech doesn't actually mean freedom from consequences. With the way netizens talk these days, you'd think they're crazy if they voice out their opinions out in the open. Here's the hottest topic in my area that's currently making its rounds on Facebook especially. An unfortunate death occurred recently. I don't know the full details, but from reading up the chronology of the case by a national news site, a student was found unconscious with major injuries near a ditch at a school hostel at 3 a.m. It was mentioned that she fell from the third floor of the building. The incident was reported to the police at 8 a.m. the same morning, with the student already being sent to the hospital. She sustained major injuries, having broken arms and legs from the fall, and the family made the decision, and I can tell that this was definitely a really hard decision to turn off the life support because doctors advised them that her internal bleeding was really bad and her brain became unresponsive. A few years later, posts from alleged family members spread that this was an alleged bullying case and the student was a victim. Not sure if the post said that it was an alleged suicide or someone had allegedly pushed the student, but the internet being the internet ate this up and spread this around like facts. It also didn't help that the family made a police report of the school principal for weirdly trying to cover the incident. And I guess more fuel was added to the conspiracy fire. And a lot more so-called evidence have surfaced recently. Photos of the students' alleged diary entries mentioning being bullied by other students came out. Also, a confirmed voice note of the student also surfaced online. With all the evidence seemingly coming out, netizens joined in solidarity seeking justice for the student. Admittedly, this is the nice side of the story where netizens who aren't even close to the victim can stand in solidarity, voicing their support to the victim's family. However, police are still investigating the matter and have not confirmed or ruled out any foul play or bullying yet. This has caused quite a bit of stir among the netizens. Some have resorted to digital vigilantism, doxing the alleged bullies even though nothing's confirmed yet. Don't you guys find it ironic? You're standing up against bullying by bullying and doxing unconfirmed suspects, giving out death threats to people you aren't even familiar with, let alone know personally. Heck, you don't even fully know the factual extent of the case yet. You're out here telling people to act on violence towards minors. Grown as adults violently threatening minors. One commenter, I guess in the heat of the moment and not wanting to be left out, boldly said that her husband got hold of a CCTV footage of the bullies putting the victim into a washing machine before the incident. Funnily enough, the footage could only be seen once before the disc failed, and it couldn't be passed on as evidence. As dramatic as this revelation of a lost CCTV footage can be, the family's lawyer has confirmed that the commenter was contacted in regards to their comment and redacted the statement. They obviously admitted they lied and apologized to the family for spreading false news. In another development, netizens started imploring influencers to use their platforms and raise awareness to this case. One by one, they actually started to do so. Again, another good side of the internet. Though it did take a weird turn, at least from one influencer, asking the authorities to speed things up and publicly publish their findings. If they can't or won't do so, the influencer asks all their followers to not go out and vote in the coming election. I'll keep my opinions about that one for another day, but I hope you can see why that isn't a smart move. Okay, damn, that was a long setup for an opinion that I'm still not sure how to articulate. But this isn't the only such case of netizens going wild, obviously. Celebrity scandals, influencer scandals, even local shops and events can become victims of online wrath if what they did or did not do becomes viral. Even last month, a mom posted about their son getting a bad haircut without warning by the school's principal. People ate it up, criticizing the mom for blindly spotting the son, not following the school rules in regards to hair length, and even resorted to bullying the teenage son for crying about the incident. When in actuality, the whole point of the mom's post, in the first place, was that the school didn't give a warning and that the principal actually violated a student's rights. Almost everyone missed the point. But I can't actually 100% side with the mom in this case, because obviously she shouldn't have posted and complained about it online in the first place. And I guess that's the point of all of this. Not everything should be posted online. Not your relationship problems, not your car problems, and especially nothing about sensitive opinions that can lead to violence and death threats. Anyway, before I really go off topic, here are my findings on why this behavior is widespread online. One term I found is online disinhibition effect. This theory tries to explain why people are more reckless and cruel online. It was coined by John Sattler, psychologist. The concept describes how being anonymous, invisible, and having asynchronous communication when online can erode a user's inhibition. Basically, when you're only typing on a screen, all your inhibitions go out the window. This leads you to say things that you won't normally say to people face to face. The loss of inhibition is also due to de-individuation. Big word, I know, but to put simply, it's a lack or loss of self-awareness when in big groups. And when you're online with millions, if not billions of people, that is a pretty big group. Then there's the dehumanization aspect of it all, where others are perceived as less than human. Although it isn't concrete research, I have watched YouTube creators talk about this. When a person is always looking at a screen, it's much easier to forget and deny the complexities and emotions of the people you're either talking to or about through the screen. Because in your head, you're just talking to your computer, when in actuality, you're talking to or about another human being behind another screen. Repeated exposure to hate speech would also desensitize people, effectively normalizing hostility and unfortunately transforming naive users into participants in toxic discourse. This one hits close to home as I've experienced this firsthand. I honestly still feel the effects of this and try to find the good in things as soon as I notice my negative thoughts manifesting into my writing. And lastly, I guess we're all guilty of this: doom scrolling. Obsessively consuming negative content carries mental health risks such as increase in mistrust, existential dread, and PTSD-like symptoms. Holy shit, I haven't done this amount of research since college, and those papers were much longer back then. Anyhow, my point at the end of it all is we're all addicted to social media, especially the negative parts. When we're consuming too much negative content, negative comments, we now have tendencies of producing negative content ourselves. We even have tendencies of oversharing information that should be left private, honestly. Now, do you even realize when you advocate for hate and violence online? And if yes, why are you continuing to do so? Plus, do you understand that what you say online has consequences, if not to yourself, to the people you're talking to or talking about? Remember, the people you read about online are still people. And to the adults out there passing judgment based on inconclusive evidence, how different are you compared to the people you're advocating violence on? Because if you say they deserve it, what's to stop others from saying you deserve something bad happen to you when the tables have turned? At the end of the day, I guess let's just be kind to each other. It's definitely difficult, but if you manage to do so, it's a lot more satisfying, at least in my opinion, compared to spreading hate. And do remember, freedom of speech doesn't necessarily mean freedom from consequences. Plus, another reminder to not overshare and post everything online. And I know I'm technically doing the same thing as well. That's why we all need to rethink our rants, complaints, content, posts, or whatever before pressing that post button. And with that, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of the Mostly Nothing podcast. If you managed to stay until the end, I really like to thank you guys and I appreciate it a lot. I hope you guys can give this podcast a rating wherever you're listening this on, and subscribe for more of my thoughts on anything, everything, and nothing. And I guess I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye.